everyone, I'm going to be showing you how to pour plates using molten media. The first thing that we need to do is make sure that our space is properly prepared and ready to go. When we have molten media, it has a very short time before it actually starts to solidify. So you want to have everything ready to go at your bench space before you go and get your media out of the hot water bath. You want to make sure that you're not wasting any time once you get the media out of the hot water bath. So to start off with, let's make sure that our bench space is nice and clean. We do need to pour our plates aseptically. We don't want to get any outside bacteria into the media. So we'll just use our benchtop disinfectant, spray it on well, and use some paper towels to get that all cleaned up. It's okay if the bench is still a little bit damp. It will dry off pretty quickly. And this will go into the garbage. I'm just going to leave it there for right now. You also want to make sure that your Bunsen burner is ready to go. And I actually like to just light it once quickly to make sure that my flame is a good height. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It's a little bit of a large flame, but overall I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll turn that off. I don't need it running right now. We never want to leave our flame unattended, so always turn it off before you leave to go and get your agar. And the last thing you need to prepare is get your petri plates open. So right now I have a sleeve of them that's already had a few taken out of it. So it's been taped up to keep the remaining plates nice and clean and sterile. Of course, I didn't show you this, but I have already made sure that my hands are thoroughly washed. So now I can open up this sleeve of plates. I want to minimize touching the plates inside, so if I know that I only need 4 plates, I'm just going to kind of separate those plates, bring them up the tube a little bit, and then reach in and take those out. I'm actually going to be doing a few more, so I'll grab a few extras as well. Once I've taken those out, fold them back up so that the remainder stay clean and usable for the next person. And then we can see here, if we look at these plates, right now my plates are in 2 different directions. It's a great idea to always have the plates so that the side that's going to get the agar is facing down towards the bench. So that's with this direction here. So the slightly narrower part of the plate goes down towards the bench top. So for these ones, I just have to flip them this way. Now different people will pour their plates a little bit differently. Some people like to have all their plates lined up side by side and just do each one individually. I like to work with my plates in stacks. So I'm going to leave my plates in 2 small stacks, and this is how I'm going to use them when I pour my media. So now I'll just get these exactly how I want to use them. So I've got my flame right up near the front, and then my 2 stacks of plates are just off to the side of where my Bunsen burner is set up. So now I'm ready that I can go over to the hot water bath, grab my media, and start pouring plates. So I'm just going to go and discard my paper towel, pick up my hot flask of agar, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone over to the hot water bath and I have picked up both a flask of media and a tube of media. So we would call these agar pours. Sometimes we call them agar deeps. But at this point, I would call this an agar pour. And we need to work fast with this one because these guys cool down quickly. So I'll turn on my burner. And to pour my slant, I'm just gonna take one of my plates, have it ready. I'm gonna remove the lid with my finger, flame the mouth of my tube, quickly lift the lid, pour, and lid back on. Now my pour didn't quite fill the plate, it's continuing to move a little, but if I'm concerned, I can just do a gentle swirl, and now it's completely full. This can slowly move aside and solidify. With this tube, if you're not pouring anything else right away, you would go to the sink and rinse this before it has a chance to solidify. But it's more important that you get all of your liquid media poured and before it all solidifies. So I'm going to set that aside and work on my flask. So for my flask, I can just take my cap off and I'm just going to leave it aside. Again, flame the mouth of my flask, keep it nice and aseptic, and as long as I work right near the flame, I don't necessarily have to flame the mouth every single time. I can flame the mouth, and then we're gonna pour until it's about 3/4 full, and then lid back on. That last little bit will continue to fill. Again, if you pour it slowly until the whole plate is full, that's great too. So now I've got 3 plates that have been poured. I'm going to slowly move it aside. Since I paused a little bit, I'm going to give it another flame, and then I'm going to finish off my last few plates. And right now I still have some media left, so I could continue on and pour more plates. Or the other thing that you can do is if you're left with just a little bit of extra media, I often like to just have an extra petri plate lying around so that I can just pour the rest of the media in, and it won't be enough to make a proper plate that I can use later, but when it's solidified in a plate, it's nice and easy to throw away. So now, again, we'll get rid of the solid media by pouring a few more plates. We'll go and rinse our tube, and these plates are just going to be left to cool on our desktop. So here's a little bit of a pro tip. If you're in a little bit of a rush and you want to make sure that your plates solidify a little more quickly, they'll solidify more quickly if they're in a single layer. So you can very carefully move them so that they're only 1 plate thick, and this will help to let them solidify a little bit more quickly. Notice how I did that very slowly. Part of the reason for that is that I don't want agar splashing up into the lid. And we're just going to leave these on the desk to solidify. Something that you'll notice is as it becomes solid, it'll become a slightly whiter in color. And if you're unsure, you can always pick up the plate and tilt it a little bit. If it still jiggles, it still needs a little bit more time to cool. All right, there's your demo on how to pour your agar plates, and we'll see you back for the next topic.